Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're doing the first 100 tile build challenge video. So I've done lots of 32 tiles, two 64 tiles. I was really happy with how the 64 tile one came out, but today we are doing one for 100 tiles. As for how this one turned out, I think I want to take a second crack at it. However, for this style, for the 100 tile challenge, we are going for a family house. So that's obviously two parents and six kids, which means we need 7 bedrooms. And I managed to get it work at the end, but I don't think it's great. I actually think 6 bedrooms is probably the way to go for a 100 tile challenge. So I think for my second build, maybe we'll go for more of like a roommate situation where you have like 2 couples and then like 4 single people. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and do this. This also took me a long time to do. As I said in my other video, it took me about 4 hours to do the 64 tile challenge the second time around. This also took me 4 hours. But here's the kicker. I actually had a base to work off of because I learned all those lessons from the 64 tile challenge. And yet, it took me 4 hours. So I can't keep doing 4-hour challenges. I mean, I don't have the time. But once you kind of, get to a point of no return, you kind of want to keep going. Like usual, I always do these on stream on twitch.com/I'm Leloy. But then obviously you guys don't have to watch those really long streams. You can just come here and watch like 10 to 12 minutes speed build. But if you want to see me have freakouts in real time, I kind of hide my face cam for these recordings. But if you want to see me have a freak out, you can kind of just see me having panic attacks. And I'm like, oh my god. So per usual, it's always about, making the house around the dining table. The dining table is the largest object in the game, particularly for this one because we want obviously 8 sims. This is like literally where I work off the base of my 64 tile build. And it helped me a little bit, but not a lot. Oh, this was just hard to do. This was really hard. It took a long time to figure out. And it ended up being an interesting shape, I think, as you saw in the last video. They are starting to look a lot alike because when you create these unique shapes and then you have all the mid-century furniture, there really is nowhere else to go besides making a modern build. So, I mean, I'd like to do a more classic build. I prefer modern architecture, but like the shape of these houses, I just can't. It wouldn't historically make sense that older houses would be built in these shapes. I mean, the shape of this house is so obviously created to fit the building code in Simland for 100 tile compliance that it has to be a modern build. Anyway, as you can see, I was coming out with some really interesting shapes. The thing was, I had a lot of tiles free. So I had like 18 tiles, as you can see there, 9 for the kitchen, 9 for the living room. So I knew I had the space. It was really just figuring out how can I sort it. Because the big problem with 7 bedrooms is that they need doors. Like, you need to walk into them. And trying to, kind of Tetris them all around the common area was really hard. Like, that's what you essentially have to do. Like, you got these little blocks. You can see I'm like I'm lifting them out like chunks, and I'm dropping them in different places. That's what you have to do, and you have to find the right combination that allows you to, put like kitchen appliances in, sofas, this, that, the other. We're putting the kitchen in now, and we're also going to. Wait, we're putting the living room in now. I don't even know. I wasn't even focusing on the video. I know the furniture does look very similar to my 64 tile build video, but I go in and change all that, so don't worry. I mean, I'm happy enough with how the house came out. I think, we accomplished a lot. It's 7 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a nice big kitchen. When I say big, I just mean there's 2 countertops. Usually, you'd have 1 countertop with a dishwasher, but I know there's both a sink and a dishwasher in this build, so, it's big enough. And we got 3 full bathrooms, which is always a nice thing, particularly because you're going to have 8 sims. It's going to be rough. Now, the way I set up the family situation is that they all have the same size rooms. Whether you're a kid, a toddler, or a teenager, it's 7.5 tiles. So you can go in there and change it any way you want, but I was pretty even across the board. I made 2 teenager bedrooms, 2 kid bedrooms, and then 2 toddler bedrooms. and they're both 50-50 in terms of gender. One of them has like it's more feminine, the other is more neutral. I wouldn't say any of them is kind of masculine, just varying degrees of femininity, I think, in the rooms. This is the area where I'm kind of coming towards the final layout. Like the layout overall does look like this at the end. I mean, you're gonna see some adjustments, but that's basically the optimal layout that I found this time around. I think having less bedrooms will help me in the next build, going from 7 to 6, just because it can kind of free up those areas. And yeah, but I'm pretty psyched with how this turned out. I'm already having ideas about what I could do for the next build. So I'd love to put, for example, as I said, I wanted to do 2 double beds, like 2 big bedrooms for like 2 couples. I think maybe, for example, having them share an ensuite could be a nice thing, because then I can kind of group the doors in a different way. So, I mean, there's different methods to my madness. So I'm kind of, as I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, maybe I can do that better. So with these tiny build challenges, you definitely need multiple attempts, because, at least for me, I'm not nailing it the first time around. It takes a bit of practice. As you saw in my first 64 tile build, that wasn't great, but I obviously made up for it. I'm really happy with how that second one turned out, which you can also watch on this channel. So here I am. I decided to put it in the Get Together World, Willow Windenburg, and I think it's perfect for a 20 by 20. That said, because I put it in Windenburg, there is no logical pathway. You're gonna have to build that out yourself. And then now I'm just kind of adding into decorations. I felt because of the style of the house, I'd actually raise the walls. So these are medium level heights, and I wanted more of a dramatic door, so that's a double width door. I'm using valuable space with that double width door, but I think it was worth it at the end, because I wanted the build to look different, and I was really getting tired of that that tiny living door, like the one door they gave us. I was just so bored of using it that I was like, I have to make something different. So I went for a more base game. In terms of packs it uses Get Famous. I think it uses Get Together. I'm not sure. It uses Discover University, obviously. And I think you might actually be using a bit of City Living, but just for like some of the electronics. So it's not like anything necessary. I think the ones you're going to mainly need, per usual, are University and Get Famous. Those, if you have those two, I think you're in good shape to download this house. So here I am. I'm finally getting the inside right. It's a very different aesthetic though from the last house, and I wish they gave us a new table, because we have this nice new chair, and I needed a really long table, and there was no matching swatches to go with that dark wood that you see on the chairs. There was a matching one for the lighter wood, not for the darker color. So yeah, that didn't really work out great. I'll just put the kitchen in. That's the optimal way to stick that in. I got 2 couches in this time compared to 1, so 4 people can sit out there, 2 people can sit. So the parents could, for example, sit in their bedroom because they have the Murphy bed. And I think I want to do better for the next build. I'd love to have definitively 8 seats in total somewhere, including a Murphy bed. So for example, that could be having 2 Murphy beds. That's 4, 6, and 8. So that could be how I solve that challenge. I don't know yet, but I'd love to get a 3-seater in somehow in the next build. I love how I'm so disappointed in this, so I'm already talking about the next build instead of this build. But you're seeing the video. It's kind of self-explanatory. That's me doing the toddler's bedroom. This is me doing the kid's bedroom. Yeah, I was like, let's really spread them out. So the more loved toddler gets to be beside the parents' bedroom, and the less loved one is beside the poor teenage daughter's bedroom, I think. So, yeah, ain't some families, it's a hard life. Yeah, some of my wall aesthetic choices were a bit rough, but I finally kind of ironed those out. You can see how bizarre my shaping of the house is. Like, there's these little blocks of emptiness. You can see there, sandwiched between those bedrooms, where I couldn't use any tiles. So I was like, it's open plan. I'm gonna stick a roof over it. It'll be fine. So I want the next house to maybe look a bit better than that and not have gaps between. I don't use move objects because I want this to be the rules of a 100 tile challenge. So if you could use move objects, I like you put plants and stuff. Like I'd probably put windows. Although I mightn't though, because then the kids have no privacy between each other's bedrooms, and that's just a bit weird. But like maybe one of them could have windows out, and you could have like plants coming up if you used moved objects. I think that'd be really cool. And per usual, when you have these crazy shaped houses, just throw a flat roof onto it and drag it out, and you're pretty much sorted. So I'm now adding in all the details, like all the storage that the house needs. I love the Black Panther painting that came with Tiny Living. I think it looks great. I was going to put in that wall charm with the flowers on it that everybody uses in their tiny home builds, but I was like, that's almost a joke at this point, so I was like, I can't put that in there. I actually like the master bedroom. I think that's actually a nice grey wall. I think I'm going to use that in my own builds, like just on my own gameplay. I was like, that's a nice wallpaper. I never discovered that until I did this video. Really like that grey. And yeah, I'm just adding in all like the decorations. I call this the decoration pass-through. When I do larger builds, I kind of go over it in pass-throughs. And now I'm just doing the garden. There's not much to the garden because there's not many tiles left on 20 by 20. But you know, I'm just adding the details in so it fits really well into Windenburg. And I think it turned out pretty well. So I think I'm almost coming to the end of this build. So I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the montage in silence. I'm not going to talk over it too much. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. You can also leave comments below if you like the build or what you think I could do to make it better because it's not the best. And if you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. So thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.